Hey, how's it going? Today we're gonna play some games with Espathra EX. It was tied for the third most popular deck in Day 2 at Sao Paulo. A group of about 6 or 7 players all brought this 60 cards they made Day 2, as well as a couple other people making Day 2 with slightly different lists. But this seemed to be the most popular, so this is kind of the one I went with. All that I did was switch out the Spiritomb for 12th Psychic. I was between the 12th basic psychic and an energy retrieval or a counter catcher. But Braiden Elfert's the one that popularized Espathra, and they kind of took his list and switched it up a little bit. They added a second Banette and a third Shuppet, which I kind of like because the item lock's really cool and comes in handy. In this deck, they removed the counter catcher, the flutter main, and the energy retrieval for the third Shuppet and the second Banette EX and the Spiritomb. A lot of the decks in Sao Paulo were playing Spiritomb. I thought that was kind of interesting. It seems really popular tech down there. Another thing I was thinking is, I don't know if Hero's Cape is super needed in this deck or not. I haven't tried it without Hero's Cape yet. I was kind of just thinking Braiden probably played more games with it than me, and he figured that the Hero's Cape is important. But you could try Prime Catcher or Master Ball. Maxim Belt probably doesn't fit too well. But after the couple games I played, I would consider trying to add Flutter Main or Mimikyu. But this is one of the few decks in the format as well that can go first. There's a lot of Pokemon search. You should be able to get down a couple Pokemon. Alright, so we won the coin flip and chose to go first. And we're up against Arceus. We have like a fine starting hand. We're really just hoping to top deck some kind of either an energy or a draw supporter. And I'm debating putting down the Pokemon League headquarters because I could Ultra Ball for Cleffa next turn and retreat and draw with it. But I end up trying to put it down and just hoping to slow down my opponent's setup, which might not be super smart, but it could give us a pretty good advantage. And they bench a Char Cadet, which is unfortunate to see because we are weak to fire. And we really don't want to get one shot. This deck really wants to like play the two-shot game and try to run your opponent out of resources with the ability, and the league headquarters just really make them struggle to get each attack off. But they're able to squawk, they get rid of a fire, which they probably want to because of Magma Basin. They do get the DTE, but luckily our stadium stops them from being able to Trinity Charge. And we get really lucky in top deck an Iono. Like Buddy-Buddy Poffin for another Natu, another Flittle. We could start drawing with Xatu's ability. Get another Natu, and I'll just attach. Not sure if I'm going to bench that third Natu. It's kind of weird. Like I would want to have an extra one down in case they boss up my Xatu and knock it out, but it could also stop me from benching something later. Since Arceus kind of like really relies on their first attack, I decided to bench it because it seems pretty likely that they'll boss up my Xatu as a way to be able to attack with just one fire. So I just throw it down and they Ultra Ball. The one good thing is that this Delphox cannot one-shot the Espathra with its snipe attack. But yeah, benching that Natu kind of could turn around to bite us if they don't boss, but they do, because I need to get Manaphy down to avoid them from sniping like both of my Natus or something, like boss snipe Xatu and snipe the bench one. They'll just base into the Delphox and knock out the guy. So we're gonna probably research this turn. It sucks getting rid of 2 more supporters, but I really need to get down Manaphy and yeah, pretty much just Manaphy. So I do end up Ionoing because of the 2 supporters. And we do draw the Manaphy, which is pretty lucky. But we draw no psychic energies, so that sucks. I'll play the Buddy Poff and just get it out of my deck. And just take a look. I'll have to bench the Manaphy, and we do have the knockout with this Arceus. We're doing quite a bit of damage because they put the extra energy on their guy. And all they have to attack with is the Delphox, so I'm thinking we're looking pretty good at this point. And they'll have to get 2 more energy on it too if they like have to attack through the Pokemon League headquarters, which they basically, well, they could just do it with a double turbo. I didn't really think about that. They get the Radiant Heat Trance, that makes me think they have Magma Basin, or they like feel pretty confident about hitting it, because that's like your ideal target to accelerate to with Magma Basin. They get down another Charcadet and Bibarel. Yeah, I didn't really know what to think about this matchup because, I don't know, Espathra's like a pretty polarizing deck, and I was thinking they'd be able to one-shot me pretty easily, but it turns out, or the way that they ended up setting up their board, they're not able to one-shot me this turn, which is pretty lucky. They're just attaching, like, taking a long time between these actions. I do have this on 2x speed. And then they'll just hit me with Delphox, which is, I don't know, kind of smart because it leaves less energy on them. So it makes it harder for me to one-shot them with my Espathra, whereas it would have been pretty easy to one-shot them with the 2 extra energy on it. Also, Ultra Ball away both the Banettes because they're not very good in this matchup. Arceus usually only plays about like 8 or 10 items, and they're not super essential to the game for them. And I draw no energy at all, which kind of sucks. Which I wouldn't have one-shotted him anyway. I would have needed 2 energy on him, or 2 more energy on my guy, and this deck doesn't play switching cards or anything, so I can't switch it to the bench. And I was debating between just retreating there and passing with a 1-prizer active, or just hitting into it and leaving that as something to knock out for later. Because now they can just attack with the Delphox and burn and knock me out, or they can even attack with the Squawkabilly and motivate and get more energy in play and knock me out, because that's kind of the struggle right now is once this guy, if this guy went down, they would have like not much energy in play at all, and we'd be in a very good spot. Yeah, they'd be down to 3 energy in play, which would be pretty nice. That's really what I was hoping for, or hoping to be able to knock this out, but them being able to bump the league headquarters made it very hard for me to do, and they do retreat to the Squawkabilly, and they move up the 2 energy so that they can attack, and they knock me out with motivate. I've never had that happen to me, that's a first, and they evolve to the Armourouge EX. That's terrifying, that thing is crazy. It has 260 HP, and it takes 80 less damage from attacks when it has full HP. Oh, we found all the psychic energy off that research. And the Armourouge also one-shots our Espathra, which sucks. Now I'm just playing this Aroma to thin out the deck, and I decide to grab Cleffa, because I'm probably going to put that in play. This deck like kind of falls apart if it doesn't have a free retreater in play, which is one unfortunate part about it, because Xatu only accelerates to the bench. But with 3 energy on my, or no, with 2 energy, 36, 90, 120, 150. Now I need 3 energy on my Espathra, and I can knock out this Squawkabilly. If it had 150 HP, I could knock it out with just 2 energy, so that's kind of unfortunate. I'm just Ultra Balling, thinning out my hand, thinning out the deck. Gotta retreat before I evolve. That would be catastrophic. And I put this Hero's Cape on an unfortunate target, because this Espathra is getting one-shot no matter what by this Heatran. This Heatran is going to blow us up and do 10 million damage. But now we're just basically hoping to get closer to boss, which is why I super added back in the 1 Espathra and the 2 Psychic, so that if I get Iono'd, I have more energy in my deck, so that I can draw with Xatu and hopefully get to boss, because I have 2 boss and a bunch of energy in the deck. So we should have pretty likely odds to hit it, because we're getting knocked out this turn. We need to boss the Delphox to win the game, or they're going to win on the next turn, because they can knock out anything on my field with either their Radiant Heatran or their Armourouge EX. So we get 2 energy, which was like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have put the 2 energy back, but I don't know, it seemed right at the time. They have to use 4 energy to attack with the Heatran, and they do 520 damage. That's plenty to knock us out through the thing. We top deck another energy, so we can at least draw 4 more cards. We immediately hit the boss. I go to accelerate again, but I don't need it because we just need to do, I don't know, 40 damage to this Delphox, and we end up pulling that one out just barely against a pretty bad matchup. Alright, on to the next game, and my opponent won the coin flip and chose to go first. And we see the mulligan, and I kind of looked out for an extra second because I was trying to figure out what it was, and it is Lost Box. And it's, I don't know, this is one of my buddies from locals that we randomly hit on the ladder. He also got second in a regional, like right after the pandemic or whatever. And he's a pretty good player, and it's kind of funny just randomly running into him on the ladder. And he was telling me at a locals the other day that he was testing this deck online, so I was like, oh, this is definitely him. And he chose to go first. I'm not sure about that. I think I heard Azul saying the other day that he thinks going first with Lost Box is correct. I've just always liked going second with it. It just feels so much better. And you get the first attack off, you're less likely to brick. I guess now that you don't have Battle VIP, you don't have to worry about not being able to get Pokemon in play, but I'm still gonna pick second. And he gets off a few flower selectings, that's pretty good. We have double Capturing Aroma. Capturing Aroma has been steering me wrong this time. I have been flipping the opposite of what I want every time, and it happens again. So we just get the Banette because I don't ever see myself wanting that in the near future. And I just grab Manaphy because I don't want any crazy stuff to happen. And I'll attach to the Shuppet because I'm going to go for the flip to see if I can't item lock him. I'm debating Ultra Balling here. This is kind of a hard Ultra Ball, but I really want to get down another Shuppet. And it's just really awkward because I have to do Iono Psychic or Research Psychic is basically my only options. I guess I could have gotten rid of Espathra too, but then I see that 2 Shuppets are prized. So what are the chances of that? That's why you always check your prizes. I probably should have Ultra Balled in that situation even if they weren't prized. And I still retreat and just go for the item lock because I really want to stop him from advancing his board, and we get really lucky and hit it. Because if he like got all 3 Comfies again and a Colress and a Vacuum, he could have got to 10 and Sableye would just destroy this board state. He could knock out my Natu and both of my Flittles, or my Shuppet and both my Flittles. It would just not be very good. And luckily, just as planned, the item lock works and sticks him for a turn. And item locking is like pretty decent in this matchup to use to set up your board. It's kind of hard to use it to fully win the game, to just keep item locking throughout the whole game. I was hoping to hit a heads there to just keep evolving all my guys. But I'm debating if I want to just attack with Banette for another turn and evolve everything up and then start attacking with Espathra. Because Espathra is already like pretty disruptive in this matchup anyway. Lost Box likes to put down the exact amount of energy that they need in play. They don't want to have to put an extra, and maybe even a whole nother extra energy for the stadium. But there's not much he can do this turn. He's just gonna flower selecting, retreat, and flower selecting again. Because he's really like not in threat of much, because I'm just doing 30 damage. I'm not knocking anything out. And he just wants to like get up to 10 and build his hand the way that he wants it. And he uses Iron Bundle to, I don't know, maybe hope I send up the wrong Pokemon or something. He doesn't know this is me, which makes it even funnier, because my name's like Trainer something. They switched my name to that. But now I can Iono, and I get the Stadium, and that's the other card that I was looking for to start taking knockouts. That's like pretty disruptive. Reset the hand that he's worked to build and make him need 2 extra energy to attack if he can't find his own Stadium. And I Ultra Ball just to evolve everything up like I said I wanted to do, and we'll just attack. I save both the energy because my hand's kind of dead. He'll almost definitely get a Colress off of this Iono, which is the one unfortunate thing, is that he hadn't been playing Colresses. And I looked at his discard. I think I should have just kept item locking. If I had another Shuppet, that was definitely the right play. because he's already down 6 energy. That's 3 or 4 more energy in the deck, and it's just really unlikely that he was going to be able to build up like enough energy, and if I bossed up like Greninja or something, also be able to retreat. Yeah, I just keep looking at it thinking I should have just kept item locking, because this matchup can go south kind of quick if the Lost Box player plays their resources right, and I'm thinking that James should play it pretty good, because I think he's been practicing this quite a bit, and I think this Lost Box deck is really good. But he Artisans for another Comfy, and his Cram's already in the Lost Zone. That sucks. That's unfortunate, because he would really like to hit me with Cram here. But he's got a Nest Ball for Raikou. I don't know if he just doesn't have the resources to get off a Roaring Moon attack, or if he thinks he'll lose if he does that, which he probably would, because I would just item lock him for a knockout, and that'd be pretty unfortunate. So he's just kind of got to hit me with Raikou and maybe plan for Raikou into Sableye or something like that. And he super odds at Mirage Gates and has to attach, puts down the Sableye. So that is his plan, to probably hit me with Raikou and then Sableye the Espathra and the Manaphy. And I draw the Hero's Cape, which is just what I was looking for. Hero's Cape, and I have an energy to attach so that I can get the knockout. It's kind of unfortunate he hasn't played his Vacuum yet, and there's a chance he plays 2 Vacuum. So there's decent odds that he hits the Vacuum and is able to knock me out. Also, pretty big mistake that I made here. I did not Ultra Ball. I should have Ultra Balled away like Xatu, Natu, or Espathra and Flittle, whichever ones it was. I should have Ultra Balled away something and attached the Rigid Band. I wasn't sure where I wanted to put the Rigid Band yet, but I was going into Roxanne territory. And as soon as I took the knockout, I realized, oh man, I probably should have thinned my hand out as much as I could. And I probably should have even played it as Super Odd if I had any Psychic in the discard. That was a pretty big mistake. But he's just going to keep Flower selecting. I think he's probably looking for a Mirage Gate here. Because if he had everything that he needs in hand, there's no way he should have kept Flower selecting here. So I feel like he's digging for a Mirage Gate to try to attack with the Sableye. Almost certainly. And there's the long pause, so I'm assuming that he whiffed it, because he'd probably need like Mirage Gate, Super Odd. Mirage Gate or Super Odd, he's looking for one or the other. And I top deck Alakazam, and I'm debating, should I take a knockout or just retreat and attack with Banette EX? I end up retreating because if he got Prime Catcher and brought up my Manaphy or one of my Xatus, he could have won the game just off of Sableyeing my board. Because I don't know, I have a lot of energy in play, there's a few in my discard pile. I don't know when I would have been able to draw a way to retreat. So I retreat, item lock, and my plan is to deck him out at this point. Because he can't put cards back in the deck, it's very unlikely that he plays 2 Roxanne. Even though the more of him, I'm thinking Lost Box probably should play 2 Roxanne. Because you really want to draw more than just like a chorus off of like a late game Iono, and there's also a small chance that you'll draw a chorus if you've already used 3, or maybe you've already used 4. So I've been thinking 2 Roxannes in Lost Box is pretty good, but I just item lock, and I'm pretty sure that there's nothing that he can do to win the game, because his boss is in the Lost Zone as well, so he can't boss stall and then super add more cards into his deck. And he just lost mines again. And he puts all 12 on my Banette. Banette's kind of a tanky boy because not even 2 lost mines knocks him out. It takes forever. I don't know why it's going 1 at a time. That's really weird. Past turn, I just immediately item lock. And because I really don't think there's anything he can do. He draws his last card. And will he concede or will he lost mine? And he concedes. So that was Espathra EX. It might become more popular now because it did really good in PAL. Maybe more people will start looking at it. I think it's pretty fun to play. It's a cool deck. The ability is really annoying to play against, and item lock is always annoying to play against, so could be a good or a bad thing.